Hello everyone and welcome to another week, another round of, well, the most unlocked catgirl being there to make some plays, I guess. I'm not good. I just like playing the game and talking to people, so you know what? I should go right in. What am I supposed to do today? Oh, wait. SMGs and support. Yes. You know, this round is starting particularly well, I would say. There we go. Uh,
You're a lifesaver.
dun, 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 dun. Nice. I really should just go to that side and kill them. Something randomly achieved. This is a famous. Oh well, they didn't get Alpha. I was like, oh hey, we're attacking Alpha as well. So both sides. Okay, you just quit out. Okay, good. But I guess not. Wait, was it already? Oh. Oh, okay, good. I think the... spawn point inside of the water. Well, let's actually land something and go. I know. Okay. I don't know. Much better. What the hell did that count? I don't have luck right now. No, I don't know if I'm feeling the scar right now.
I'm here!
It was a dead way. Well, that's at least something. That's a good flank. I really am just unlucky right now. Hey, anyone? God damn it. Blind fuck. Oh, they never see you. I guess not then. Well, hi bot and my bot. No one wants you here. I know. Well, it's gonna be interesting how next week changes things up again. Even though right now apparently a lot of people are actually watching. Well, that was lucky that they were in there. Huh? Okay, okay. um, I mean, interestingly, the viewership of the base game versus the Battle Royale has basically flipped at this point, and majorly, which is just fascinating to watch, because that definitely shows that I don't think Battlefield is like inherently, you know, streamer unfriendly game. It's just if you're someone who goes onto Twitch to actually watch someone play video games, yeah, I get why, you know, Battle Royales or something like, I mean, I know why something like, you know, Elden Ring or, you know, I'm going through Neo is so particularly interesting to people, because when there's a challenge, there's just, you know, more emotions at play on, oh, will the person succeed? Will they fail? And it's just like there's more tension in watching. You know what? Oh, there's a battlefield ground. You play. And I don't think there's going to be any particular thing that will change that. I mean, I do, I will say, they've been missing out on the right selection of 8v8 modes. And I know a lot of people are like, you know, or they're against like small scale modes, but like, listen, small scale modes should not always be, you know, Counter-Strike or Call of Duty styled. Like, that would probably be the dumbest thing to do. Like, if we talk Battlefield, the most obvious things that they should do is squad versions of their, you know, popular modes. Which would probably just work really well, actually. Then again, they could also just, make one mode where all the, those aspects are mixed. It's not like that's particularly unpopular, actually. Like, here's the thing. Okay, you have basically a mode with that is, let's say, 8v8, okay? And now you go and you just be like, okay, let's make it, you know, squad breakthrough. So, usually just 1 point or so where a bunch of people squabble over, and you have 2, maybe 3, and that's it. Works. That's fine, you know. Then you can do the same for Rush. Had it in 3, it was really popular. I still don't understand why it was gone. Anyway, also Squad Breakthrough was also in, what's it called? Remember Incursions? When there was the whole, we're making a new client with new versions of the maps. It's like, oh hey, we have a King of the Hill mode and a newish version of the class system, and it was just weird. Not that it was bad, it was just weird. And very clearly they wanted to do that for 5, but apparently just didn't find anything on how to do it, and or something. But yeah, King of the Hill was... what was the most popular? Squad Breakthrough. What came never back? Squad Breakthrough. What was popular in Battlefield 3? Squad Rush. What never came back? Squad Rush. And I am just very confused, because you could easily go and be like, oh hey, here's a... you know... You could even combine it, like, you know, oh hey, the first sector is blowing up, you know, blowing up an MCOM. Second sector is conquer a flag. Like, if you think only one objective would be a bit too simple, there you go. That's how you make it more unique. And, I mean, hey, they're currently making a payload mode, so, like, you have also the robot model dog, the model of the robot dog still in your game, so... I don't know, you could definitely use that, or, you know, the supposed tank that you're, the breacher tank that was data mined. Just be like, oh yeah, hey, to capture flag, escort, payload. Just have payload escort. You just mix it up. There's enough where people would like to play with this kind of gameplay. There we go. You know what? A bit more. That looks better. Right now going relatively well. Hey Jun, generally, yeah, I mean, honestly, I really like playing Neo 2, and to a degree, I kind of want to keep playing Neo 2. But also, Agonia's playing Neo 2 today, so...
You said you wanted to play Battlefield. Don't shove that onto me.
No. I want to say, you're also playing it right now, you're catching up. Also, Tuesday is Battlefield Day, and yeah, it is definitely a bit of a relaxation from Neo, I would say, in general. As I said before, it's one of those games where, you know, it's not really a good streaming game because, frankly, you know, things happen. I mean, if you like someone talking and talking about topics, it's pretty perfect because, you know, it's not like, oh, you're gonna have to play on a super high level. It is a chill game in comparison. So I was like also talking about how they could have actually made a more competitive mode in the game, but I don't know why they haven't done that since Battlefield 3. It's right there, but they just have not done it, and I find it very weird. As if this is just like something that is unable to manifest. Like design-wise, even though it's like such a simple concept. Ah, fuck. Nothing to capture. It's always like, yeah, shot before you capture. You get shot down, then the capture doesn't count anymore. And those are things where I'm like, I wish they changed that. But yeah, Neo is right now just... I mean, tomorrow is also EDF, which is also to a degree a break from Neo, but also EDF itself is like... It's not stressful, it's just high intensity, I would say. Especially when you play with two people and you have like... when you're two people and you have to coordinate all the time. Hmm. Yeah, but I mean, almost, and then no one there to back up. Unlucky. Was, yeah. So,
Be advised, hostiles now hold more objectives.
so how are you doing? How's the day going? How was the start into the week?
Neutralize objective Bravo.
Also, I don't know why it is switched like that. Which doctors after 8 years I need to pass. Well, that's, yeah, after some time you should definitely check that up. I should probably also start visiting my you know, being like, okay, yeah, I need a new pair of glasses. Well, at least my new one adjusted. My current one adjusted, because that's the thing with the glass, you know. Ba 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 bum. Otherwise, yeah. I mean, at least here, yeah, go to the doctor generally. I'm just generally happy I don't have it as bad in terms of most people. Like, I mean, I have an iron deficiency, almost. So now I'm taking iron, but I feel like generally I have that was actually needed a lot, because I'm feeling slowly better, but there might some be I feel like my body really just needs to catch up a lot on iron, which is not that good, you know. Ooh, we haven't been in Merrick Valley in a bit, so let's see how that goes. Wait, are you... No! Huh. The controller, I think, started vibrating again. That's already out. That sounded more like it still takes time, but I have no idea how it turns out. I mean, as I said, it's good that they didn't just push it to live, but like actually sat down and, you know, ran it through beta. Like genuinely, that was a good decision they made. It's just I don't know what to feel about it. You know, it feels like a very stupid idea, as you know. As if someone was just like, no, no, it has to be a viable game option, and like, I mean, I just don't know. Like, I mean, this is probably the crassest comparison I will ever bring to that, but like, there are just a few things in history that just were not favorable and, you know, should not be weighted equally. And while, you know, centralization versus decentralization is obviously a far less touchy subject, like, it's kind of weird how they made that the main thing, and, you know, apparently never touched on the, you know, economic impacts of slavery. Because, like, that's a big thing, you know? I remember when, you know, Wiki 3 came out, there was, like, a big discourse about, you know, because some people said, oh, slavery should be viable. And they go, extremely crass comparison. But, like, let me cook you for a second. The thing is that in the end, they were like, no, slavery was bad. And we have the historical records of how slavery was bad, not only in a, you know, moral sense, but also just in a legitimate economic sense, that slavery was just not viable. Like, genuinely not viable. If you want to, you know, not run any form of complete inhuman extraction stuff, and even then, who made that rich and who made that powerful? Not usually the broad mass. Anyway, so far, UI feels like it's treating it way more like, and yeah, I guess, you know, you just have slaves now, and have nothing to really add to the what does, you know, a slave economy actually mean for a society. Even if it was historically there, like, that's a big, big, big thing to point out. Like, on what level did those economies even function? But, you know, meanwhile, we get, yeah, decentralization, you know, the one thing everyone wanted to get away from. Well, that has to be viable. Just, I'm just cynical, but yeah. There we go. You don't. But I mean, it's probably. Let me just put it like this. Considering this is one where they actually put a little bit of time in testing and feedback, it wouldn't surprise me if 1.8 in the end actually played pretty well. Like, yeah, wouldn't actually surprise me a lot. So, I don't know, still. The thing is also just, I technically now need to make room for EU5 to play on my own, which probably shouldn't be too hard. But also, like, how do I put it in the best way? It just didn't manifest as of now, like that we played more EU5.
That's hard to do with your reading speed.
That is actually true.
Because we're doing something different in our free time right now.
You're reading gay shit, I know. At least at a relatively swift pace for what we usually, how fast I usually am. You know? So, I don't know. Come on. Yeah, I need to just check it out on myself, but like maybe the next days we do that because like I mean I alluded to this already, but like this
You know what's the worst part about the centralization and decentralization changes so far? I don't know if they will change it again. So, the best way to expand was with subjects, right? Now they do decentralization.
yeah.
But at the same time, they removed the crown power bonus from centralization. But at that point, I think there is no point in choosing centralization.
Why did they remove the crown power bonus? Oh, that was the point of centralization. I'm sorry.
Say EU5 is more of a let's make a game work than anything else. You recently played from Paradox.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be very honest with you here. I am kind of happy when next week Iberia and Twilight hits. It's just like, yeah, I know there was the whole, oh, will the EU5 take over, but like, I mean, sorry. Vicky 3 is more fun. Like, it's just...
It has problems and it's...
Yeah. I would say a bunch of stuff in Vicky 3 could already be, like, just improved by simply, you know, having a better tech base. Because, like, for example, if Vicky 3 had the same tech base as EU5, okay? It could have a, you know, the same big and, you know, detailed map. It could have way more production lines and, you know, prestige goods, etc. Like, just more running at the same time because, duh. Which is good, by the way. That would be actually pretty good to have more stuff to actually plant and build. Hell, you could even, you know, expand that what you have in EU5 right now with, like, you know, oh, one region has one good they can produce with RGOs, but like in Wiki 3 that would be at least like 3 to 4. So like you need to be like, okay, do you want to grow wheat, or do you maybe later want to, you know, when it's it could be, you know, more tech maybe, that you could also expand the tech, that you could have something like, oh hey, let's have sugar beets, for example. Sugar beets are like, it's like one of the most important things that happened in human history, and it's kind of ironic that we don't have any representation of them really in Wiki 3, you know? And I get why, because, I mean, the game has problems running as it is, because from what I gathered, it's like from what we know, Vicky 3 was apparently forced onto the team as like they already worked on it and it had a pretty shit code base, and then it was like make the best out of it. So they're basically stuck with something that is bad. Meanwhile, EU5 was like, oh, you have your own cozy little studio down in, I think, in Spain. Oh, you have like you can freely work on your engine. Oh, you have like a lot of like on a tech level, EU5 is just the best Paradox Interactive game simply because they weren't like artificially hamstringed. And shockingly, I would say before that, other Paradox games had it similar. Like Stellaris also, started basically from scratch, and oh wow, it ran pretty well. So yeah. That's the thing. There's an irony in saying that I think Vicky 3 is one of those games that needs a remaster, quote unquote. Because it's just, in terms of tech, they need something. You could just go more in depth, because like arguably there is less in arguably I would say there's actually less in Wiki 3, even if you like add more production resources and production methods and things to build, to the level of EU5. Even if you would add that, I do think Wiki 3 would still be the more performant game, because it's just inherently a lot smarter built in a lot of ways. It's just sitting on absolutely ass code. And like, as much as I am definitely interested in their naval rework, I am dreading the performance. Like, that is the thing. They announced the naval, and I was like, wow, they're finally tackling naval. And Agonia's first reaction was, the performance will be bad. And I'm like, yes, but why do you remind me of that? But once it... Wiki 3 and the endless performance. A story that never would have happened if Paradox just gave them a fresh start. And the newest version of the Clausewitz engine, and not, well, good luck, buddies. Do what you can. Then again, I will post that probably on Blue Sky later. Finally got the stats for this year on Twitch streams, and turns out, yeah, my most streamed game is Victoria 3, and I'm in the top 10 Vicky 3 streamers. I remember when I was... yeah, it's just like... I mean, there are not many Vicky 3 streamers. But hey, a bit proud I can be, I suppose. I don't, could be top 10 total time stream. Wouldn't surprise me if I'm in the top 10 Vicky 3 streamers anyway, considering there are probably just 10 left, and I'm like, hi, place number 10. Like, I mean, regular streamers. Then again, I'm generally interested in what Wiki 3 does next year. Like, here's the thing, EU5 is one of those games, I'm like, okay, here's the thing. I don't think I will regret buying EU5. Because, as of now, despite everything, I had fun. I do think a lot of the changes are stupid. Again, why the fuck did you remove crown power? But, like, that might just get a reverse anyway, so... I think the most important question will more be, like, what is it looking in, like, 4 or 5 months? I think that is a more interesting question than how is it now, because right now it feels just weird and yeah. Meanwhile, yeah, I'm way more excited for Wiki 3 because, like, here's the thing. Naval rework feels like the main expansion is going to be about warfare. And I feel like what is going to happen is they are probably going to expand what you can do with armies and how you do armies. That is probably the end goal for this. But I mean, my big feeling is what we're going to see is the main three big update is going to be naval combat is being reworked, that ship classes are that ships are individual units, and you can't you have to pay way more attention in like how where you use them, and if they sink, that's like a major loss, because that was always a big thing, and I would say that is kind of a good thing, because naval kind of needs that, and I probably
Wouldn't that result in even more doom stacking?
To a degree, but like it would probably also mean more that you need to actually spread out where your
Oh, you could lose them. All ship together strong.
ships together strong. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you here. Martin so far has always found relatively good solutions to problems. Not always. I think that is probably the thing why I like Wiki 3 so much, because every time someone comes up with like, oh, but this isn't like, the best or most complex way, and then it's like, yeah, but they never overdo it with changes or ideas, It's always very deliberate. This is working good enough. Let's not overdo it and cause more problems. We might find a better thing to add or change down the line. And I think that is the strength of Wiki 3, this really slow burn type of development. Anyway, I'm genuinely interested how they, marine, how you can build, a fleet in the future. Because that is going to be interesting. And I do think that this is probably going to be the... Wait, what?
I wish I could share your excitement.
It's interesting. I just find it personally very interesting. I know what your concerns are.
Okay, what are my concerns?
That it leads to more doom stacking, and also that
I have no problem with doom stacking.
Okay, but it will also just crash the performance.
Performance is one thing. The other thing I fear is more micro.
That is fair.
I know this is not how development works, okay? It's a small emotional statement. But fix your fucking integration police bugs, revert the whole you can basically not use unintegrated territory anymore, because it's stupid. And, important and, please give us, besides your advantage/disadvantage score on the front line and everyone who's set on attack, on everyone defend button, you would remove so much micro out of the wall system. Do you know how many 4 times general stacks I need to micro in a war? The system was introduced to reduce micro, and we still have no...
I mean, fair point. I will say
Maybe
that.
even remove the generals with their attack and defense thing with the orders entirely, and just put it onto, I don't know, another production method for university, for military academy stuff. You know?
I get what you mean. It's just
Because, like, the idea that you recruit, like, generals also for their interest groups they represent to give them more strength and stuff is really interesting, but all it leads to is RNG heavy and micromanagey fiddly stuff. It's not a good idea in the long run.
yeah. It's gonna be interesting, really.
Micromanagey is, I guess, the wrong word since it technically can pause, but yeah, it's a lot of fiddling that doesn't need to be in there.
Yeah. I do think they definitely need to change some stuff there, but maybe it's coming. I will see. I will feel like there's gonna be some major war rework, coming with that anyway. But I do think the paid stuff will probably be an army builder.
Army builder.
As in, like, you can specify that, and like, if you play normal, you just have templates of what your troops can have and use. But if you play with the paid DLC, you can be like, use this type of rifle and that you can make some variations in that.
Even more fiddly.
I know.
I don't want fiddly in my games. Not if they're real time. Make it turn-based if you want that.
Yeah, I feel they definitely need to have some method of making it less fiddly. Because I feel like
you can't make what you described less fiddly. It's a definition of fiddly.
Because I feel like there's gonna be a shipbuilder.
Yeah.
I know.
And this is not something that should be in
Wiki.
Yeah, it should not be there. They kind of advertise the game as more of a micro perspective, almost like I don't know, grand strategy game. Like, I like their games, but damn, can they be glad they don't have a rival in the market? They would lose.
I can almost guarantee you because someone is making a quote-unquote Wiki 3 clone, and I can almost guarantee you it's gonna be worse. Like,
oh, I said a rival, not a clown.
every time people like copy games, they never understand why things work and what doesn't work. Like, there are a lot of YouTubers that just bitch about the war system in Wiki 3, and it's a joke. Like, the war system is good. It's actually genuinely good, and you just don't see the upsides because you're like, why can't I pull my troops personally? And like, that's not a good thing you should be able to do in a grand strategy game. But other points.
they want to microturf more control because they used to outplay the AI that way from
Yeah.
Crusader Kings, Europa Universalis.
Meanwhile, now it's like you need to actually outproduce the AI, and they're like, no, less cheese. And it's like, yeah, cool.
There I thought this time I would be silent while you stream.
What?
And there I thought this time I would be silent while you stream.
Sorry, I think Paradox Detective came up and that just...
Yeah.
Lol. Anyway, it is a genuinely interesting topic, but yeah. I mean, that's one thing, but also the other ones, the other part I will say that is interesting me in Wiki 3 at this point is like, what are the story packs gonna be next year? Because, you know, Austria and Austria was already, oh hey, this is pretty good. And Iberia sounds even better considering what they're adding, so like, I really hope they keep adding more stuff. That actually is, you know, you go into a country and there's just some unique shit you can do, you know? That's what I really hope, that there's gonna be more interesting things there. Because, for example, I do think the French stuff is a bit underutilized. A bit. And Brits, don't get me started on the Brits. Like, even if they're just fleshing out the major powers, that would be something. Like, what country would you actually like to see some more unique content for?
Something that ignores the culture bullshit they introduced.
That's a problem.
Because it's... I'm not against the concept. But it's a concept that you can barely tune. Like, the sweet spot is so infinitesimally small, it either might as well not exist, or it's so annoying that you're basically like, okay, yeah, I guess we're expanding with subjects only now. No long schland.
No long shot. Honestly, Japan would definitely be a pretty big one, and I feel like they should tackle that next year. That's like, I mean, that's almost saying, hey, let's just sell the game more, because a lot of people want to play Japan.
Japan is fun.
And like having more, you know, historic stuff about, you know, doing alliances, stealing technology. It's like Japan just like had this whole rapid westernization, and it would definitely be very interesting to have, you know, alternate history stuff in there about what, you know.
Well, they learned Dutch, and then they learned over the Dutch how the railway and stuff.
No, that actually they learned from the Germans.
Dutch first.
I mean, okay, the railway not from the Dutch.
Technically. Because
pretty sure
they
not.
learned Dutch first.
Oh, the Dutch just hung around there. Yeah, that's true. But like,
That's not the point. They learned Dutch, and thus they got all their stuff,
yeah, okay,
or
yeah.
even about technology, in Dutch.
Yeah. I mean, then they could also you could have you know what I do want for Japan. If they actually get a journal entry, and they could do that technically for every country on the planet, but I especially want it for Japan for weird personal reasons. Okay. Have just an event, a very small one, about which railway gauge you're going to build your country in. No. Let me explain. Japan is extremely mountainous. Okay.
No, I get what you mean. I'm just like, okay.
It's just an event.
Will I be very angry about which event my subjects choose? And no, not an event. I want to rip out all their fucked up gauge railway and replace it with the things I want.
Honestly, I would say if choosing a railway gauge, if you adopt railways, should be is an event for everyone. I would say that if you're a subject of someone, you automatically use their gauge.
Yeah, but that's also wrong. What if I'm like the Netherlands? I don't need
What?
I don't need the gauge that the Japanese do. No.
I'd say that the thing is... Okay, let me put it like this. Railway gauges should have a few ups and downsides, okay?
Yeah, and I told you
What?
with the system you're proposing, especially with
You have no idea what I propose. I just say they should be able to
event
choose it.
that's a permanent thing.
I mean, you could make it like a law that you can change, maybe, because like that would be a big change and would take
Laws
time.
can change, yes.
Because it would be like a massive undertaking to retrofit all the railways.
I mean, if you're unlucky with laws and stuff, you already take years to get something like that.
But it's, wait, by the way, it's not undoable. Like, it would actually be a good idea to do that. I mean, I would say then it it should still be something you do, and then it will cost you some, for the next year, some money and construction efficiency, it's construction power, to just do that as a process.
Could be like, I like the buttons so they smooth and stuff.
Yeah, but I would definitely make it so, like, for example, if you have like the same railway gauge as your neighbors, that you, for example, have just a higher land trade capacity with them. Like, that's one of the most obvious things. If if the trains don't have to change at the border but can just run through, that's one upside. I would say that there should be definitely a higher cost for a normal gauge to.
Making things way too complicated.
What did you just say?
You make things too complicated.
Oh no, that's actually very logical. Like, I mean,
I
why
don't care if it's logical. I'm saying it's complicated.
Nah. I do want to make. I do want that to be a very
apology accepted. Now stop thinking about it.
I just want to have it a meaningful decision, okay?
How about we start ironing out the bugs first?
I mean, has nothing to do with design.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm just very frustrated.
Be ashamed
about the bugs.
for yourself.
No.
Be ashamed, seriously. You just threw in like the most deflectionist.
It's not deflectionist.
It smells of deflection.
No, it's a heartfelt.
Oh.
It's a heartfelt wish.
Right at the moment where you want to evade.
Evade what? I told you it's a stupid idea. It's way too complicated. Like what you all want in there.
No, it's just basic railway.
Yeah.
Also, you just hurt me.
Yeah.
And it hurts.
You were asking for it though.
No, I did not. It hurts.
Chat can't see it, but
It still hurts, by the way. I'm not even joking about that.
That's interesting. Because
Yeah, it's I don't know, it's just ow. Yeah, Japan should definitely be one. I do think Prussia actually deserves an expansion to a degree. But also I would say I'd say Prussia needs some, but right now, ironically, I'd say the two that probably from the big Western nations that needed the most are to a degree France, because theirs is just pitiful. Like they have a bit, but it kind of just sucks. America. There needs to be something in America. Like, I am... Like, if this year has naval rework and stuff, we need to talk about arguably the most major naval... Two of the most major rising naval powers of that time, you know, Japan and America. Because I know people were still saying, like, oh, but the British Navy... Yeah, the British Navy basically out eclipsed at the end by the American Navy, and it wasn't even funny how much. Yeah, America needs some desperate work. Like, if there is gonna be in an expansion focus on North America, USA, Mexico.
have you ever noticed that in general, every time a country gets a rework, it gets weaker?
You know
I'm
what?
just saying.
Yeah, no. You know why? That's actually probably the funniest observation, because it's true, but also it's true for a very, very funny reason. Because
What's your funny reason?
basically in Wiki 3 everyone plays, you know, with the same rules, meaning you just kind of are baseline, okay? But if a major power has but there is no real story content in it, but like most of the story content in Wiki 3 is just, oh hey, here's turmoil you have to navigate. So it arguably always makes them weaker, because suddenly, because all the story content obviously is just, here's a crisis that we just haven't had in the main game being introduced into the game.
Yeah.
Which makes it again a bit more interesting because you have more to manage, but yeah, it just makes them weaker and you can't blob as much anymore. And
yes, and that's everything. Even when the game gets an update, everything gets weaker. Like, the general trend is always less stuff you can do.
You know what? The big problem I think Wiki 3 has so far is they didn't have a power creep expansion.
Yeah.
Because, like,
you shouldn't overdo it, but still.
Yeah, oh, no. Like, I mean, the thing is just, like, if you look at, for example, I mean, okay, in EU4, it was generally, like, you know, okay, new mission trees and shit were more like, okay, this is how you get something stronger. Like, they were literally there to make someone strong. Meanwhile, you know, Wiki 3 is just, here's a lot of journal entries that make everything more...
worse.
Yeah, because, I mean...
It's
yeah, historically,
like,
it was...
If you like to play through those, I guess it's fun.
Yeah.
For me personally, every country they reworked, it's pretty much always like, no, I have less fun.
It's kind of... It's probably the dumbest coincidence they have there, yeah.
I don't really think it's a coincidence. You can see that coming.
Yeah, I feel like the big problem they just need to do is there needs to be especially if they have a military expansion, that should be like their big point in like majorly making the war how you do war more interesting. Like, because for example, if we look at certain expansions of previous titles, I would always say there were usually just one or two, like 2 or 3 expansions that really, brought some power creep back into the games that made it more interesting to play, even if your country itself might be a bit in peril. Like, for example, in Crusader Kings 2, I would say the very obvious choices are Way of Life,
Yes.
because that just genuinely made rulers much more powerful. And I think the one no one thinks about, aside from the fact that, old gods, the Vikings were just dumb strong, is the one of the Byzantine Empire. Because it introduced standing armies.
Oh, the retinue.
Retinues, yeah. Retinues were generally that thing of, and I feel like Wiki 3 needs something like retinues. Not in like not in the sense of like, oh, they're standing armies. It's like technically everyone has a standing army at that point.
Just need a while to mobilize.
Yeah, I would probably more say in the sense of specialist regiments. That would probably be more accurate to what I would say. Like, that you have something that makes it more interesting to engage with things. Oh well. What a long talk about goddamn Wiki 3 now.
Also, I'm sorry that I'm so negative, but that's just a general trend with Paradox games that always pisses me off. Making expansions slower.
Making the game slower with expansions.
No, expansion slower. You expand slower.
Expansion slower.
Yes.
Yeah, that's just a weird thing they keep doing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why. I genuinely do not know why. I mean, here's the thing. I'd say to a degree, expansion should probably be tough. Like, I do think Wiki 3 handles it in quote-unquote still the best, in the sense that you kind of need to have more of an economy to actually expand. But you can expand. And I feel like they now try to make it harder and less efficient to do that when it's like...
No, they started that with 1.2 already.
Yeah.
1.2 made things slower. The National Awakening also made expansion slower. The police laws rework made expansion slower. Well, then the bug, but what can you do? Apparently it's hard to fix.
Yeah.
Be advised, we have lost control of Echo.
Oh well. I should probably...
That's my very long list of frustrations with Paradox games.
Is that for the 10th times?
And probably hundreds of times more in the future.
Actually, it's only gonna be this Friday still. Because next week is Wiki 3 and we're gonna play Wiki 3 because one of our group already said they don't want to play EU5 anymore right now. So yeah, Wiki 3 time. I guess we just end out the year with more Wiki 3.
Why not?
And don't forget that the NIA Awards are back. We will have a special category this year even. So, be there for the only subjective and totally accurate Game Awards of 2025.
The only subjective. Oh, interesting.
Oh, well, the only objective, sorry. Haha,
Fucked up your
slipped
joke.
there. What?
You fucked up your joke.
Hey, no! But that's why you watch this channel. Oh, damn. Finally some escalation again. Been a bit. So yeah, that's kind of, what's going on. Vermintide one more time on Friday, and then... Yeah.
All elements, targets are marked. We need to hold a majority of objectives so we can take ground. We've secured Foxtrot. Move to attack the marked objective.
Fair point. It's just we're usually covering them each year because... Well... I guess. It's fun to hang out with people. Oh, I should definitely ask Patrick if he has time then.
Objective Echo is under attack. Hostile forces hold 4 objectives. They're close to taking territory.
In a lot of the games I played do not exist languages other than Japanese, which makes it hard to talk about them with people that don't invest a decade breaking on a language pair. I mean, I wish I did, but I get you. I totally get you. there's just too much stuck in Japan, I would say, and it's kind of a shame. Like, I feel generally there might be a niche of, trying to get the the Western publishing rights for obscure Japanese games. And just, like old Japanese games, and just put them on, GOG or Steam, or re-release them. Because, like, there's probably gonna be a mass of VNs that are just gonna be really good, and, people don't know about because they never made it over. And I do think there are probably, there would probably not be the biggest effort on doing that, but yeah, it depends on... Hell, like, I can almost guarantee you, if you, I mean, they probably would, not even mind that much, but, like, if you'd manage to, like, get, some of the old, EDF games onto Steam, like, translated, running, they probably would sell. Like, I mean, probably a lot of people would be like, well, this isn't that good, but also, like, you're playing a PS2 game. What? This is just, we made a PS2 game working. I mean, otherwise, for me, I do think always the best thing to do for video games is always, like, just have a good subbing, because, like, a lot of times the original voice acting, especially with old games, is just... it's special, there's something you can't really get in dubbing. Like, that's always one of those reasons why I'm like, as much as I'm happy there is, like, going to be, the original cast of Gothic, reprising their roles in Gothic remake, I'm just like... Gesundheit. I'm still gonna be bothered by the fact that a lot of, people will play it in English and be like, well, it's a good dub. No! No, 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 it can't. It can't be. It can, by design, not be a good dub. Because Gothic and its voice acting and its just whole personality is like this, warpot thing. It's just, you can't dub that. That's like such a specific regional thing. You could make an equivalent, like if it's basically like
yes, you could, and maybe they will, but yeah,
no, 100% not. I can guarantee you.
As I said, maybe they will.
Yeah,
but aside from, like, as a disability aid, I don't think dubs should exist.
like, I mean, I think dubs just also never really do a lot of interesting things. Like, a lot of dubbing, it's kind of sucks to talk about the fact that, especially for the last 2 decades, dubbing has just arguably become worse, and there's not even an effort really to make a lot of things more distinct. Or, give it identity, or just have its own thing going on. Because, like, they would just be... Yeah. Like, for example, if you hold a gun to my head and said, hey, how would you dub Gothic? I'd say, give everyone a Liverpool accent. Make it clear that this is just a weird niche place. That's actually not hard. It's just, they won't do that. Because Yeah, and you know, it kind of sucks to talk about that because I know there's an industry, I know livelihoods depend on, especially since, you know, AI is taking over now, which is especially shitty. But yeah,
That's the problem.
it feels just like kicking someone who's already down because, like, I know there is a certain there's a certain thing about dubbing that is like you know, what is expected of a dub, or you know, how people expect voice acting to work. But also there's just the fact that a lot of dubs just don't get money, like, period. They were already underpaid as fuck. They already didn't have time. They already didn't have like a good direction. Like that is probably the thing. A lot of dubbing is just bad because there has never been actually put effort into the dub. Like, period. There's never been put like money and effort into it, and you hear that. Like the moment you hear a dub where money and effort has went into, it's like, oh wait, this is actually pretty good. But we have less and less of that, and the little we have is now like, oh yeah, how about we just AI generate it? And you're like, no, fuck off. It's horrible. Oh well, there was a rocket. Then again, I'd say the fact that a lot of Japanese devs don't even bother translating their games is another shit show in itself, which is more like, I know why they're not doing it, but oh yeah, foreign revenue would really be nice. I know, like, I mean, let's just be real here. They're still dealing with the fallout of the fact that Shinzo Abe's you know, politics just wrecked the economy. Hey, Sarah, it's going fine. You know, it wrecked the economy, and like they're not really doing a course correction of that, and not the best situation to be in, I would say. But yeah, I feel like a lot of I feel a lot of Japanese companies just never notice that they're, because they're like, oh, well, our games never really sold in the West. And like, I do think a lot overlook how much this is a marketing, like, I will say, if you have something weird, okay, it is always a marketing issue, never a customer issue. Like, I know a lot of people say, oh, hey, but what about, you know, but some things are just too weird. You can't localize that. First of all, have you seen how many tokusatsu series just became popular in the West over the last decade? And that was literally because, you know, people got Power Rangers, and frankly, Power Rangers is a good show. They have some really good seasons, some better than the Sentai. But then a lot of people were just like, well, I do want to watch Sentai. And the majority of people just then went over and were like, oh wait, this is actually much better. Much more what I want. And now there's like a giant Sentai fandom in the West that just barely gets, you know, barely gets supplied because people think about the idea of, no, it can't be. You can't just slap like a very Japanese thing in front of Westerners and they like it. You know, aside from, remember when Yakuza 0 just suddenly went big? A game that came out on the PS3 and the Wii U. And then they just, you know, did one port on the PS4 and suddenly the game exploded. And now they said some bullshit about, well, the PC market was always special to us. Like, I mean, here's the thing. I find it so funny how many devs there are that are like, you know, late to the PC market. But then are like, oh no, PC was always an important platform to us. Like, no, it was not. You just realized after Zero, it's just realized with the success of Zero, wait, we can probably just sell this on more platforms that are not that popular in Japan. And then you did. And then you made money. Booty hooty woo. I'm a little bit, you know, cynical right now, but like,
Is it really cynical?
it's a little bit cynical.
I think you just called it. That's all.
Yeah. Otherwise, yeah. Why did Yakuza 0 get big? Even though, you know, I wish it was. It had way more wildly culturally different video games than what fit typical Western sensibilities. I mean, I get you. It's.
I think it's also just a matter of availability. Like, if the market would be already saturated from like, video games, media, and stuff from different cultures, the people who were like, oh, this is against my Western sensibilities, that would be the weirdos.
Yeah. Like, I generally want more games that are more culturally distinct. Like, again, I do want to still do it next year. Like, hey, I showed you the Etna series this year because I really was like, no, those are classic German humor / you know, adventure game writing. And I do thought like I should share that with you, and you know, also the voice acting, because it's like, again, very distinct German. And I think that is actually important. Like, again, if the text is English, you will understand it roughly. And I was able to give some context to things where, you know, things were different. But, like, that's why I want to show the original Gothic, because there's just so much uniqueness in there that even though I think there are a few, I heard there are like a few indie games that try to be like Gothic, I feel like they will fundamentally fail at some critical aspects of Gothic. But, yeah. But damn, that you're in interesting discords in that regard. I would say Kamen Rider also just got more popular because, I mean, there are a lot of accounts nowadays spamming about it, online. There's this increase of people who are, you know, now... I mean, Witch from Mercury got a lot of people into Gundam. And a lot of people... what?
Ironically?
Ironically. And a lot of them swear like, it's from start to finish a perfect show. Also, I was always a Gundam fan. Yeah, sure. And the Pope shits in the woods. Anyway, like, you see an uptick in things, and sometimes it just needs, you know, one thing that makes people interesting, even, you know, even if it's... What?
Interested,
even if it's, you know, kind of attracting sometimes probably the worst kind of fandom you can imagine. But, like, Kamen Rider also got popular. Like, hell, the fact, like, right now, Tojima Wants to Be a Kamen Rider is running, and that is an insanely unhinged show about, you know, Kamen Rider, actually. And it just drew a lot more people in, because they were like, oh, well, you know, it's an animated show. I know that. I haven't watched it. And then, you know, a few minutes later, a few episodes, and they're like, holy shit, I should probably watch Kamen Rider now. Like, and again, the Yakuza series is like such an entrenched, you know, distilled Japanese cultural experience. And yet they yeet out a game each year and people buy it, even though they're like very unapologetically Japanese. You know? And fascinating. Like, they're so unapologetically Japanese in that regard that they basically just changed their genre from brawler to RPG. And people loved it. And there's a certain irony in looking at, you know, some companies like, how's it called? Looking at certain companies like Square Enix, who are just like, no, you don't understand. We need to, you know, remove the turn-based RPG aspect from Final Fantasy. No one wants to play that anymore. Meanwhile, turn-based RPGs just keep selling, and they're just like weirdly like always those racist takes of like, well, this proof. No, people keep buying them. It's just so fucking funny to me. It's like, again, Yakuza games, they 7 and 8, they sold. And yeah, Clair Obscur used Gen A, but still, it sold. There's so much where it just sells all the time. And then everyone is like, wow, why does it sell? It's like, because it always sold. Like, have people forgot how, like, I mean, I feel like there is this almost ignorance burned into a lot of people's mind about, you know, how is it should be like this idea of, well, you know, those JRPGs, those were never like the most popular games. And I just sit there being like, what the fuck are you talking about? Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, 10, and 12 were hugely popular when I grew up. They were like whole fucking gaming magazine covers. And people were like, wow, have you seen Final Fantasy 12? It looks amazing. Like, those were big hits. And yeah, from what I know, apparently in the European market more than the American. But then on the other hand, fuck the American market. Fuck the absolutely US-centric history distortion. Don't need those fuckers. Anyway. Yeah. But I would say the thing people forget why Yakuza went widespread is, well, people started sharing just started sharing content about Yakuza, started writing about Yakuza, and suddenly it was like, oh wait, oh my god, yeah, like it's like, oh, you know, the history of gaming was everyone played Nintendo when they were young. That's the story you hear online, and then, you know, I'd say the rich kids from our countries just were like, oh yes, Americans, let me bootleg your story even more. Because, like, sorry, most people didn't have a Nintendo when we grew up. We had a PlayStation. And before that, we had, statistically, a Sega. And Latin America, oh yeah, people had SNK machines. And they also had internet cafes. Those were also really popular. Like, there's a whole thing about that. It isn't here. And let's not forget the time where Sony, on their own, hacked PlayStation 1s in Argentina and Co. So people could play, you know, pirated games. Because for them, the idea of, you know, selling the console and people being able to play it was just more attractive of getting it out to people. And it worked. It just fucking worked. But yeah.
Get ready to defend your positions. Let's get dug in across the sector and ready for contact.
Also, a lot of people here in Europe didn't have their own PC for a long time. Like, let's not forget that in Europe, the family PC was a thing for a very long time. Like, that was still a thing in the 2000s. Meanwhile, America is just like, nah.
Hold the line.
In America, you know, that was just more and more like, no, give the kids their own PC and make it Hot Wheels themed. It's like, okay. Yeah, there's a Hot Wheels themed PC.
Why? Who would want that? Even
I
if
don't
you
know.
like Hot Wheels. Why would
Honestly,
you want a Hot Wheels branded PC?
I still don't know if I hate or like the design, actually. It, like, this is... I'm
I've
going to
never
be...
seen it. I hate the concept.
Hot Wheels enthusiasts. Actually, this is more often, you know, here's kids brand, popular kids brand on slapped onto something, so kids will like it because of kids brand, and kids are just like... But that's not what I... Honestly, I can tell you so much. Children are being mistreated when it comes to branding of things. Like, it's like, oh, but we slapped brand X on it. You like brand X, and it's like, no, children like generally a thing. Do children like Hot Wheels, or do children like cars? You know, little toy cars. They could also Matchbox theme it, and the kid would be similarly unimpressed because the kid likes both. They like Matchbox and they like Hot Wheels. The thing why Hot Wheels is just, you know, usually... You know why Hot Wheels got so big?
The enemy has destroyed Alpha.
I mean, really, can anyone guess why Hot Wheels got so big with children? And it's like legitimate things that are not, you know, just branding. Because if it was branding, Matchbox was 2 degrees better. There's consistency, but also, here's the thing. Hot Wheels were good. Like, I'm not kidding. I had a lot of toy cars. Because it's just, I guess, a thing as I had. Because I also got some handed down from my parents. And, like, let me just be clear here. Hot Wheels ran the best. Like, I mean, you know the thing that children step on on those cars and then they just bend the axle inside and the car just kind of runs a bit ass. Hot Wheels ran the least ass. And like, I might be real here. You know what's the hardest stress test for toys are kids. And kids can also notice that, wait, that toy lasts longer, looks better, and feels nicer to play with. I want more of that. Children aren't stupid. And Hot Wheels was generally solid cars. That's why they had it. But I mean, hey, if we talk about that, I will just be very clear here. I do think that a lot of brands never considered interconnectivity with other systems, even if it would have been to their benefit. Like, it's always, oh, we want children in a closed system, and the answer is just like, literally, Matchbox, if you just made, and you know, the weird thing is Matchbox is Mattel. It's like, listen, if you fuckers ever made your cars, even if they're just a bit shittier, compatible on Hot Wheels tracks, so much more children would have just bought them. But if you had your own track system that you could combine it, like a good example here is actually that, okay, I don't know where it is, what is like the biggest one in, you know, the US or so, but when it comes to wood railways, you know, wooden toy railways, the main thing that we just kind of associate it with here nowadays is a company called Brio, and they kind of make some of the most expensive ones, but like their tracks are just good. I don't know, I wouldn't say, you know, their you know, that trains and stuff can be like, you know, but the thing is, their tracks top notch. All their shit that you can use to build like a railway out of, you know, those wooden tracks, good. But then here's the thing. There are some people who are like, oh, well, you know, we have to have our own system, and they didn't sell because turns out most children have, you know, the good stuff because that works. And so they, and then a lot of other companies realized, why do we make it hard on ourselves? Let's just make our toy line compatible with that one track system, and maybe make our track system compatible with the you know, with the other track system. So now children can actually have, you know. So now when parents want to have something, they can just buy it for their children from anyone. Because there are things that Brio will make that others won't make, and then there's things others make that Brio won't make. Like, for example, the whole Thomas the Tank Engine lineup was not, I think, from Brio back then, but it worked, so everyone had it. Oh well, me rambling over kids' toys here. Da 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 da. Lego Family PC against Nintendo stuff. And yeah, like Nintendo was always kind of expensive, and I mean, hell, there was a reason the PlayStation took over. It was also just to a degree cost. Like, I'm not shaming the N64 in terms of, you know, what it was as a console, because, and I feel like nowadays people are also a bit more, oh, why, you know, well, everyone should have had that, you know, you can get an N64 for cheap. Listen, we have two N64s here for some reason, and yeah, N64s are cheap nowadays. And they weren't back then. Like, nice.
I have a bad and foreseeable realization.
What?
The Switchglaive is so much better.
You want to switch to the
I
glaive?
just tried, like, the whole level I used as my tutorial, basically. Okay? And I was like, okay, let's try the tonfa combos. Let's try using flux again. Something you need to learn, by the way. And I was just like, I have this one Switchglaive in my inventory. Let's just try. No. It's so much better.
Then
Immediately.
I guess you will switch it back.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I don't mind.
But I wanted to try something different, only to realize that the Switchglaive is better.
Switch glaive appreciator in you. You know what's important though? If you ever have it on your own and we can make maybe one co-op session, you're gonna be in a very fancy Miku outfit.
I don't know.
The enemy charges on Bravo.
Oh well. Yep. Oh wow, it's that late already? Huh. Yo. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I mean, usually I stream and it doesn't. If it feels longer, but I guess not.
You're gonna be all right.
Objective Bravo. Enemy explosives on Bravo defused. Is armed on objective Bravo.
Okay, honestly, I still think everyone who likes Uma Musume is a traitor. We have, like, if you want to get into horse racing, we have completely fine horse racing at home. You don't need to shill for horses across the globe. Just because they got
marketing.
cute. Yeah, I guess cute anime girls are doing it.
Yep.
then again, what can we say about German horse racing when some people said shit like Gen AI muss in der Dressur Platz haben, and you're just like, yeah, put the VR glasses on the horse and let it just see like just Gen AI slop 24/7. This will help it so much. Ah, it's so stupid.
Reminds me of the really weird argument we made once, just for shits and giggles.
Fuck horses.
Oh no, not that. But
what could there be but hating Hons? Then again, yeah, I'm actually surprised it took on this. But yeah, you'd be like, oh hey, it's a sport show about horse girls, and whoops, suddenly super popular in the West, and everyone's like, how did that happen? And the answer is, listen, we've just listened too long to prudish assholes. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of the very popular stuff from even like a lot of the popular stuff even from Western media was weird, tacky, unique. It was just, you know, that kind of those kind of things that happened when like executives and like people without artistic ideas or integrity, you know, stop watching. You know, that's the thing. And I mean, yeah, not what happened afterwards is more of an, you know, a lot of people just have conservative brain, and for them, like, it just ended up being a lot of like, let me just put it like this. In the beginning of the 2000s, Western cartoon just fell off. I'm sorry to say that, it just did. There were some ones where you can say those were better, but none of them ever reached like the actual peaks again. Like, everything has become more and more cartoonified. It has become more and more about, you know, kid-friendly stuff, but like kid-friendly in a very how's it called, sanded off way. Like, don't get me wrong, some of those messages in those shows aren't bad. It's just, again, presented in a very sanded off way. And a lot of people just couldn't take the fact that you know, the very fair assessment that a lot of people just went like, well, anime is better because, like, listen, if someone tells you that you should you know, do your best in life and it can be hard, you know, who do you want to hear it from? Some absolutely sanded off, you know, childish looking cartoon person? Or Kakashi? I don't think there's even a competition here. Like, and you're like, okay, but that's pretty recent. Yeah, Naruto was pretty recent. Before that, that happened with Goku. Like, let's not forget how much Dragon Ball Z is just like in the cultural zeitgeist, especially back then, especially in Latin America. Like, I'm pretty sure Goku has replaced Jesus in Brazil. At this point, at least. So, who am I to judge the Lord and Savior? Anyway, it's just a thing that happened, and there was just a very violent backlash because, like, I'm sorry, what was the most mature thing Western animation had for the last 20 years? Ever thought about that? What was the most mature show they had? And, like, I mean, in the sense of, not being, like, that's the thing, the mature shows in Western animation were, like, for a long time, were either, the just gross out bullshit, and then, in the teen sphere, it was all just very washed out stuff, and then there was Avatar. There's a good reason Avatar The Last Airbender kept on being a relevant thing to this day. Because, like, the whole credibility of Western animation just kind of hang on that one show until, ironically with the age of streaming, we now have maybe a few more shows. But it's been a long time. And yeah, a lot of people always liked weird shit. Like, that's a thing. People always liked weird shit when it comes to media. The whole, oh, Japan is weird. Okay, listen. I do not think the Japan is so weird argument holds any fucking merit when He-Man exists. Can we just basically circle back to the fact that He-Man exists? And I'm not slandering He-Man. But He-Man is a tokusatsu show. First and foremost, straight out of the bat. Like, what do you mean, shy person has a transformation sequence with a magical sword that gives him basically a power armor and extra strength? What do you mean he even gets like his own personal bike, which is this time like a cool green tiger? I am sorry, and that was 100% homegrown. Just the theming was a little bit different, but sorry, where's the difference between He-Man and everything else? I want to see it. Yeah, He-Man is a tokusatsu show, and a very cheesy one at that, mind you. And yeah. And also, can we just talk about for a second how, like, can we just talk about this for a second, how, like, the other big show of the 80s, how utterly fucking trashy they were? Like, again, you're telling me, oh no, Japan is so weird, and then, you like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, who are, teenage mutant ninja turtles that have a red sensei and live in the sewers of New York fighting. What is Shredder actually?
Just a human.
Yeah, and then there's also just a brain from another dimension, and they have like. They literally have, a Kamen Rider style antagonist, human animal style enemies to fight with Bebop and Rocksteady. Like.
But it's in America.
And then they just come back and eat pizza. Like, all the Sentai shows have.
America. If it's a Japanese sandpit, it doesn't count.
I'm genuinely pissed they never threw in the Shredder is attacking the quarry joke. I'm genuinely pissed about that, but again, you just had it's a Sentai show. It's specific, like just to be clear here. The original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles looked the same, had less distinct personalities, had all the same bandana. They made them more distinct and color-coded. I mean, for toys, but like, they Sentai-fied them because it was better to sell them to children that way. I'm just, like, yeah. Also, you said if it's not from Japan, it doesn't count.
Apparently, that's what seems to me.
You know what's actually from Japan that the Americans actually just expanded upon? Transformers. That was a toy line in Japan, and they just made something completely different out of it.
They also have fine Japanese sandpits if they don't know they're Japanese sandpits, aka Power Rangers.
Gay Power Rangers? I just understood. They should be gay Power Rangers, though.
I'm all for gay Power Rangers.
I'm very much for gay Power Rangers. Yep. Like, I mean, it's just this thing of like, hearing in the 90s about, it's so weird. Like, Japan is so weird when like they're doing nothing you also didn't do in the 80s America. Like, quite fucking literally.
You know what's always takes the cake?
Yeah.
If we talk with Germans that have a problem with it.
Oh, yeah.
The
really
culture
weird.
in Japan is so weird. My guy, we have still festivals where men beat women. For tradition's sake.
Wait, where's that again?
Some island. On the coast of Japan. They hunt them. They kidnap them and shit. I don't know. Culture. I don't know. Maybe we should raise some awareness for other cultures' weirdness.
Let's also not forget how anime was just like the majority of public TV here when we grew up.
Yeah.
Or how much just, how should I put it in the best way? Like, oh yeah, hey, we have then you have like stuff like was it RTL 2, where they were like, public TV. No, MTV was it? MTV. They were like, oh yeah, let's have some Japan, some anime trends dubbed and with a new intro, and then for some reason it's like just a very bizarre banger. Like, seriously, you should. We should definitely look up some of those intros. I can maybe post some in the Discord after the stream. Because there are generally some German intros to anime that are just better than the Japanese too sometimes.
Rarely. But it happens.
I mean, it's usually just one of those, you listen to them and you're like, oh yeah, that is pretty good. Like, it's weird, you know. Like, let me just put it like this. Americans, like, you know, they changed some of the most legendary intros with just absurd crap. And German intros were usually, like, equally good. Or, yeah, sometimes better. But they were usually interesting. It was just like, yeah, stuff happened there. And again, when we talk about American shows, like, what do we still have here?
Your brain froze.
You know, okay, you know what I just realized? What they also did, which was like not even like this wasn't even like 80s. This was later. Remember when the Americans just did stuff like Wings Club? There was another one.
I never
I
knew
just,
that there was an American version. Or
it
anything.
was an American show from what I know.
Okay.
Like, I mean, that's the thing. In the 2000s, they basically just did 2 times their own take on Sailor Moon. And they were hugely popular. What the fuck are you talking about? It's weird.
Oh, because it doesn't count. Wings Club, and I guess you're talking about Witch, right?
It could be.
Yeah. See, you're seeing that wrong, okay? Mm-hmm. Those shows are for girls, and girls are not counted as humans.
Oh.
I think I'm getting the hang of the logic.
Oh my god, I hate. Oh no. You just made it worse.
No, I didn't make it worse. I just showed you how bad it was.
It's true. I mean, yeah, it's true, but I hate the fact that it's like, yeah, girls' media didn't count. Don't remind me of the very casual misogyny.
I will try not to.
I mean, it's not wrong. It's just painful to think about. Like, I didn't think Wingstop was that bad. It was just inoffensive, I'd say. Was Americans have reinvented North America, middle to upper class suburban white boys? Honestly, I think I would say at this point that this really just got mainly supercharged due to the internet. Like, here's the thing. I'm not going to blame you know, people like, for example, James Rolfe on that. Because, like, listen, for him, his childhood was Nintendo. And, yeah, white, upper class, middle to upper class, white boy. fits the mold. But like, holy shit, were there a lot of AVGN copycats. And let me just be clear here, I think almost all of them are disingenuous. Like, even to this day, I do think there are like a lot of people that are just very disingenuous because attaching yourself to a gaming brand is easier to be it's easier to grow an audience online. Like, remember how many people say, oh yeah, Xbox, we've been always like big Xbox fans, and it's like, statistically, you were a person that was bullied back in school in Europe because everyone had a PlayStation. So what the fuck are we talking about? What the fuck are we currently talking about? How much this was childhood and how everyone played that? Because sure as shit, I know more people that had a PlayStation or a PC. So yeah, pretty interesting how suddenly a lot of Europeans just started attaching themselves to an American gaming brand, where even, the head of operation, the ex-head of operation just outright stated, yep, we were never a thing outside of America. Which is, again, wild to just say, but like, still. But yeah, the whole, oh, we all grew up with Nintendo, everyone loved those games, and it's always the same games, and...
I did, but
What?
I'm a statistical outlier.
Yeah. The interesting thing is, while everyone says, James Rolfe is like just more interested in just having, making videos, and is, less interested in making videos nowadays and just, does them. I do think in recent years he has actually started writing them again. And there is an interesting thing I would say about how he has actually become way more honest about Nintendo games than most people. Like, for example, like, remember how, like, he made a video about Majora's Mask, and he was just like, yeah, I disliked that as a child. And here are, like, a lot of reasons why this game was just very annoying to play as. And and you know what? Fair. Like, this wasn't just, like, some staged thing. Like, he was very open about the game has great ideas and great concepts and was hugely influential for good reasons, but you can't overlook all the stuff that would just make you very angry, especially as a child, because there was just some major bullshit in it. And, compared to how many YouTubers just resorted to just glazing Nintendo for everything. Like, there's a reason why I'm not even, why I'm not really trusting most reviews of Nintendo games nowadays, because I'm very sorry. When people did send death threats to journalists en masse for not, comically praising Breath of the Wild, and there was no consequences for that, do you really think, there are going to be, like, valid reviews of, like, the mainline Nintendo IPs anymore? They're always gonna straddle a bit more upwards than they probably should be, because simply people are afraid to just tell, well, this didn't hit the mark. Anyway, now we're talking about online sensibilities and the fact that you can incredibly easily manipulate them.
You're exiting the combat zone. Turn back now.
Contact! Hostile troops sighted!
Da, 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 da. Anyway, I do find it funny about the whole animation thing, though, that people are like, "Oh, look, anime is just like actually bad animation," and what? Because some people say, "Oh, they just use them, they just flap the mouse and don't do anything much more," and like, this is real animation, and they just show like the ugliest thing imaginable to mankind. Like, can we just talk about how many cartoons especially during the 80s and 90s from America were just fucking ugly? Like, I know, Ren and Stimpy was that on purpose, but also, oh,
Hostile explosives on Bravo have been disabled. Enemy charges set for objective Alpha. Hostiles have set explosives on Bravo.
him? Do you do your job even?
What? I didn't understand you. Sorry.
I said, team, do you even do your job?
Oh, no, they don't.
Yeah, I know.
Enemy explosives with use on objective Bravo.
So in 80s were deeply recycled because they were supposed to be kind of cheap but prolonged ads for toys. I mean, you know, I don't even mind recycling that much. Like, that's just like, yeah, so much was just crap. Like, I mean, Japan had a similar thing. Like, let's just not forget how many times a frame in the original Gundam was just reused. They just reused it. But, you know, which is fine. They need to get a show out. I think the big point is just like, I think at some point, yeah, like, I mean, there's also just the fact that, how should I put it in the best way? Like, those comparisons are just fine. I just think the American, you know, especially children to TV sector, it's pretty much, yeah, like I do agree that probably Ren and Stimpy is probably like one of the most animated shows out there. Like, I mean, let's just be real, from a pure animation standpoint, yeah, that show is impressive. That there was like genuine effort by the creators to make something unique there, but like, still, it's fucking ugly, like revoltingly, even if that's the point. But but I do think a lot of Western shows just gave up at some point. Like, I don't mean in like, I don't mean in a sense that, you know, they didn't make any, you know, effort into their, you know, quality or something. It's literally more in a sense of, oh, now it works! Nice! Anyway, so sorry, the incendiary airburst launcher thing was just bugged, so... Like, I do think there's just this thing that a lot of them are just, like, fine with just actually being very sanded off, you know, kids shows. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you here. In the 90s, and, in the 90s, early 2000s, and even 80s, there was, like, especially in the 90s with, like, all Simpsons and stuff, there was always this joke about the very, you know, super tame, happy-go-lucky TV. Oh, well, just put it like this. Remember how in the, before Married with Children, every sitcom was a happy family, and there was just minor things and lessons to learn, and everyone was happy and liked each other, and only, you know, and, you know, then Married with Children came around with, like, it's a dysfunctional family and everyone hates each other, and then, you know, suddenly people realized, wait, people want to watch shows where things are not idealized. And so, you know, you started getting stuff like The Simpsons, Malcolm in the Middle, even in, you know, other sitcoms, like, for example, even though I would say, you know, didn't age as well, Scrubs. Like, Scrubs isn't fun. Scrubs doesn't make things nice. They really just interject a lot of the times the fact that you have an basically following the adventures of a man-child with the fact that they have to deal with the fact that they care about human lives. And that Dr. Cox is like, oh yeah, he's a bitter asshole, but there's a reason he became bitter, and, you know, guess what resonated with people? And truth be told, American animation was that for a time. Like, I mean, I know there's a joke that, you know, the Transformers movie traumatized children because it just, you know, but, like, children are fine with characters dying, especially when it just happens at some point. It's a good thing. Like, a lot of children saw Optimus Prime dying, and then it was about, you know, hey, there's new ones coming, and I feel like that was actually spun widely out of control because, you know, oh no, children couldn't deal with that. They fucking could. Happens all the time. But yeah, I think animated shows just stopped having that. They just stopped having. They just either were like the completely, you know, the Adult Swim, unhinged adult shows that didn't give a fuck about anything, or they became pre-marriage with children sitcoms. Like, I know you can always say a lot of those, you know, shows nowadays, you know, do they have bad messages? No. Are they that badly executed? Also, not really. But, like, ever thought about how a lot of those, you know, current children's shows from the US since for 2 decades now are just so conflict avoidant? And then do you even wonder why something like One Piece became probably the biggest manga in all of human existence, probably soon the biggest comic in all of human existence. Like, oh no, yeah, teens and children want adventure, but they also want to have, you know, actual stakes and, you know, like actual drama and not a peaceful world. Because that's not real life. God, now I'm like, that was a long rant about long rant about animation. I mean, yeah. In the end, what is there to say other than they dropped the ball, and they dropped it very hard, and I don't even know where to go with this one anymore, because it's just, and like I would say this is definitely to a degree the fact that a very American animation thing, because French animation kept on being way more mature and, you know, had like a lot more you know, things they crossed over with, you know, like their collaborations with like Korean or Japanese studios. There was just more in terms of in that region. Like, for example, good example, I think it was one. Dragon Hunters. That was a pretty good show. Collaboration from France and Taiwan. That was a pretty good show, actually. I don't even know if it came out in America or so. Like, then one I do really like to point out, another French one that was a French-Japanese co-production, actually, is Oban Star Racers. That one was really good, actually. So, yeah. Which studios worked on that, actually? Yeah, long story short, it fell off, and I don't think it had. It only really had recovered after, well, the streaming age started, and even then, it's more like, I mean, what can I say? Like, I mean, what is the Western animation now? You still have the Adult Swim ones, and I guess Family Guy is going. There's so many funny Family Guy moments on YouTube, but like, And then you have Invincible, but like, it almost feels like a miracle that Invincible is a show that exists and is good. Like, that is wild to say, truly. But then again, if we ever talk about animation quality, has anyone ever beaten Redline? Ever? I mean, you know, Gesundheit.
Danke.
One Punch Man Season 1 was actually pretty good in terms of animation. That was like, damn, someone is aiming for that throne, and then they took away all that budget. That was embarrassing, actually. Well, also, it's so funny to nowadays, you think back where people are like, they just flap their mouths, and anime is just so lazy, and then, you know, nearly every new episode of One Piece is just hitting it out of the park, and that's a weekly show. Like, keep in mind,
That's why they put in recap fillers.
yeah, it's so
they do not kill the animators.
it is so funny that Toei just decided after, you know, doing Wano, no, you know, for Wano we should amp up the visual design, and then they were like, actually, how about we just try to over animate Egghead like really hard? And you're like, what the fuck? And yeah, I mean, aside from the fact that we're currently in the whole, you know, the whole One Piece is also kind of a tribute to classic American slapstick cartoons. It's just text now, part of the story. So they're doing a good job there. Yeah, still animating the new Digimon series pretty good. Have I noted again that the new Digimon series is shockingly good again? Just like they didn't need to, you know? They didn't need to say, hey, how about we make a Digimon series again that is more aimed at adults? You know, teens and young adults, and you're like, you didn't need to. But you did. And it's interesting. It wouldn't happen in the West anymore. Like, imagine, imagine going to Disney and pitching basically, you know, a sequel to that Hercules series, and just being like, you know, it's between the time where he became, just a new Hercules series, and just being like, you know, but we're making it actually a bit more dark and a little bit more fucked up and a little bit more, you know, like, you know, Greek mythology. And did you really think they would ever say yes to that? Even if you knew it would probably be pretty popular? Just... no, obviously not. Because that wouldn't be safe. Because, just to wrap this up, remember what how I brought up Married with Children, and what does any one of you know why that show actually got popular? See, it ran for 3 seasons and was like, you know, it went okay-ish, but it, you know, didn't fully make money. You know, the critics were like, it was a bit overlooked. And this was when Fox, you know, as a TV channel just started. They were hemorrhaging money for years. And then they made an episode in a lingerie shop. It's like the tamest shit you can imagine. Just a bit raunchiness, but like legitimately it's fucking tame. But you know, the 80s. Basically, you just drop the Puritanism, you just exploded the bomb in comparison to some Puritans. But well, then again, the 80s are back in that regard. It's just worse nowadays. And the thing is, you know, one woman basically made a crusade and went like, no, this is bad. Why is this running on TV? Children should not be able to see that. And, you know, called advertisers to pull it and stuff. And you know what happened? Fox leaned into it. They were like, yeah, fuck it. We do that. And Streisand effect happened because suddenly everyone was talking about the show and everyone was like, wait, I need to check out that show. And guess what? Suddenly the show was super popular because it turns out a lot of people just didn't knew that they might want to watch that kind of show. They just were like, fuck it. No, we did some more, you know, quote unquote, culture breaking stuff. And that series from that point onward was the one thing that kept the whole TV channel in the black numbers. Like literally. But also due to that they made The Simpsons. And you know, Malcolm. And you know, one show that dared to be a little bit more edgy, a little bit more mature, a little bit more, just a little bit more than everything else. And in the 80s, they literally leaned into the fact that Puritans disliked that. Nowadays, especially in the animated sector, it's basically all designed and written in a way to not anger the Puritans. They basically just have like given up. You know, they just handed over you know, the creative decision to like, no, let's just not offend people. Let's not make anything that might break ground. Even if it's a little bit. And yeah, it's kind of sad. I don't know what we can do about that, frankly. I mean, to a degree, it's whatever. Like, I'm sorry, American animation just has lost that war. Like, listen, I know there are some big defenders of stuff on, like, the Disney Channel and stuff, but, like, the American shows that do well are Adult Swim, Cartoon Network, and the Disney stuff. That's basically just a side note. Oh yeah, you know, Nickelodeon is also doing relatively well in comparison, but also, you know what, I don't even want to talk, I just kind of forgot about Nickelodeon, because basically Nickelodeon nowadays is just, you know, Disney, but instead of Simpsons, it's SpongeBob SquarePants. And all their, you know, interesting shows have been like, they just have been long gone. Like, are they even doing stuff on the level of Drake and Josh anymore? Or like, what was that? The school survival guides, that sitcom thing. Is Jimmy Neutron even is a thing still? I think Fairly Odd Parents is also over, so... Duh. Gone. So yeah. Anyway, hope you all had some good time here talking. And sorry if this just kind of became a ramble in the end again. I don't think there were good moments for you to hook in, Agonia.
No, not really.
You were also killing things with a sickle.
Yes.
Scythe, more like a scythe.
Well,
It's called Switchglaive, but I have problems with that.
yes, because it's not a glaive, but technically it's also not a scythe because I think the blade is not curved the right way to cut grain.
That's so odd.
It's actually the weird pickaxe blade.
Oh. Yeah, I guess. Anyway, tomorrow, EDF. Are you ready for EDF?
Yep.
Yay! And yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. Hope you had a good time. See you tomorrow for blasting aliens and defending Mother Earth. Bye!